So I've really been enjoying watching Strange New Worlds, the new Star Trek series. I think it's very effective in many ways. One of the things that I think is worse than the original series is that a lot of the characters are very promiscuous. That's not to say Star Trek has never had promiscuity. Obviously, it's been a big theme. One of the worst episodes ever of Next Gen is just focused on promiscuity and it shows how silly and bad it is when it's trying to show it in a good light. But one of the things that I think really shows this is the Vulcans. Even there's just an episode, the most recent episode was focused on Vulcans and how Vulcans are different. But I think one thing is Vulcans in the other series never seemed as promiscuous as the humans, right? Spock is not as promiscuous as Kirk. And I think that really makes sense because if you look at it, promiscuity is literally illogical. It doesn't make sense because you're not getting anything, right? There's a reason it's called fooling around, because it's purposeless, it's pointless. Well, let's put a caveat on that, right? Because actually logic can be applied to anything. It depends on your axiom. So Vulcans, they're always saying illogical and stuff. Well, it depends if it's illogical on your premises, right? Logic is just a careful system of thought, but you have to get your premises from somewhere else. So you could be a really bad person and totally logical. But in Star Trek, the Vulcans' logic, I think, is actually just a proxy for rationality. It often seems like we're stepping outside of humanity to look back at what's actually rational, because it's not just, it doesn't have to do just with logical. It is more what's rational, what's irrational. And from that sense, I think Strange New Worlds misunderstands. Well, just you could look at it from a biological perspective with Vulcans. It doesn't make sense to be promiscuous and all these other things. But it really showcases to me, in Strange New Worlds, the Vulcans and the original series and the different series, is that Vulcans being promiscuous really doesn't make sense because it's irrational.